Hello everyone, today we're going to be going over how I make these Metalheart designs, and we're going to be using Blender, Cinema 4D, and Adobe Photoshop for this, so let's get right into it. So first we're going to start off with the cube. We're going to go into edit mode, and we're going to go subdivide this by 10 cuts. Then we're going to go into the sculpting tab, select the grab tool, put the strength to all the way, and just like set your radius. It doesn't really matter, but I like setting it to like about 93. I just select random parts of the cube. You can select control or whatever to like just move it straight up or whatever. But yeah. And then what you should end up with is like a jagged model. So we're gonna go apply a modifier and add subdivision surface. And set the levels to the viewport and render to about 3 or 4. And shade smooth. Now we can add in our deforms, but first let's add in an empty. And we're gonna just do this. And we're gonna duplicate it 3 times. Now what I usually like to do is just set this to 360. And set the axes to this and that. What I also recommend is adding in another subdivision surface to make it look a little bit less. Yeah, I don't know how to explain. But yeah, you can like rotate it and then you can like come up with new forms. And what I recommend doing is going back into the edit tab, go into face select, and select random. We could delete random parts of the faces right here. Just press delete faces, and then you should end up with a more complex form. So feel free to mess around with it. Now what we are going to do is go into Cinema 4D and make the materials. Now that we're in the Cinema 4D viewport, we're going to go into File and select Merge. Select the form that you just created. And open it, press OK. And then you should end up with this form. Yes, very cool. Mess around with it. I don't know, it's your choice. We can connect objects, and then we could set up our camera. And I don't really use Cinema 4D for modeling, so it's kind of hard for me to navigate. So I'm gonna go press Shift V, press on linked camera, and then set the focal length. And then we're gonna like move our camera, cause like we're in the camera view right now. This is the default camera. I recommend setting it to something like 2.8 or whatever. And we're gonna go into render settings. It's like the renderer to standard, which will remove the material that we have. We'll take care of that later. And set your resolution. Oh yeah, by the way, this is recommended. Go into save, select the format to PNG, and select alpha channel. This will render it as a transparent image. Go into the object that you just use to connect objects on. I don't know how to explain shit. I don't know. Go into the materials tab, delete this material since we won't need it. And we're gonna create a new material and apply it to this. In the materials menu, we're going to go into color, select the texture to Fresnel. And once we did that, we're going to go into reflectance, select the type to Fong. And just adjust your parameters. Okay, after multiple renders, I found one that looks pretty promising. So we're going to go to Save Image As, and we're going to just make do with the settings here. Export it. That's it for the 3D modeling part. Now we're going to get into the real shit. So we're going to open up Photoshop. You can use any photo editing software, whether it be Affinity Photo, Affinity Designer, .NET even, but I'm just sticking with Photoshop. What we're gonna do first is make a white background, and we're gonna add in a solid color and make it purple, or whatever color. Then we're gonna go in here, and we're gonna select the blend mode to color. I'm gonna adjust the curves here just to make it look a little bit better. Just gonna flatten the image here. And now we're gonna add in a gradient. Gonna set the blend mode to multiply. Gonna adjust more curves here real quick. So now comes making the UI, which can be done in any software like Illustrator, but I'm actually just gonna stick with Photoshop here. And this one's a classic. Just make a normal square, no fill, add in a stroke. That's literally about it. And just set it to 2. And manipulate it with however you want it. Another good UI element would be connecting multiple circles together, which would be something like this. It's not really connecting, but you know where I'm getting at. You could also add in a rectangle, no stroke. Well, it's optional, but add in a gradient fill. And set the opacity of the other end to 0. And text is also kind of a big part in this because you might need fonts. But luckily I have a font page that I linked in the description for you to check out. And I'm just gonna go make the UI right now. So this is what I was able to come up with. The UI isn't really my best work, but it's good for right now. So we're gonna export this as a PNG and set our sampling mode to preserve details. Yeah, and that should be about everything, but to be honest, I kinda did a bad job at explaining, but yeah, see you later.